Welcome back to TalkNorth.com. Thank you for listening. If you can, please download before you listen. It helps our business. I'd also like to thank our producer, Brandon Morton, and let you know if you'd like to sponsor this program or any of the programs on the network, you can reach me at jsouhan47@gmail.com. Preps Today with John Millea is back after a little hiatus. Listen, y'all know how it is. I started this company with one person and an empty wallet and been trying to make it work, and it has worked to a large extent, but we had a little break without a sponsor. For this show, we are very lucky to have a sponsor again, Pizza Barn in Princeton, Minnesota. Jody Stay is going to tell you about her place and why it's perfect for so many high school fans, her location, her product. John Millea is going to have a conversation with her briefly. We do want to reintroduce the show. John Millea is the MSHSL prep guru. He goes everywhere in his branded car. He covers all the tournaments, boys and girls, does a great job. It's the most comprehensive. Even as an employee of the Star Tribune, I have to admit it's the most comprehensive high school sports coverage you're going to hear. He does a great job with personal stories, with issues. He's a longtime newspaper person who I used to work with before. He went to the MSHSL. I usually screw that up. I'm getting it right.
MSHSL.
Usually it's a tongue twister for me. I'm getting it right.
Mashizzle.
And this is part of TalkNorth.com, the podcast network that brings you Cheryl Reeve, Jeff Diamond, Roy Smalley, John Krasinski, Michael Russo, the Viking Update Show, all those other shows as well. So we're thrilled to be back. Let's do one high school topic. Then I'm going to let you introduce Joey and her business. But tell me about Henning basketball.
Yeah, if anybody followed the boys' state basketball tournament, Jim, the Henning Hornets. Really, I mean, this is a once-in-a-lifetime story. You know, you and I have done this a long time. I've never seen anything like this. Starts almost 2 years ago, April of 2017. Jacob Quam is a sophomore at Henning. You know, one of these kids who everybody loves. He's involved in everything. Dies in a car accident. He's driving to work out in the weight room at 6:30 in the morning. A semi crosses the center line, hits his vehicle. He dies of those injuries. So this would have been Jacob's senior year. Everybody on the team says he would have been a captain. He would have been one of our best players. His number was 33, so they carried the 33 jersey with him all year on a hanger on the bench and dedicated the season to him. And to tell you the truth, I couldn't tell you one thing about Henning basketball before the state tournament. I knew they only had one loss. They made it to state, and, you know, we're thinking, this is a pretty good story. They made it to state. That's pretty nice. And then they just didn't lose. They just kept winning. Win the 1A, the small school state championship. They come out for their trophy and their gold medals on the blue ribbons, and one of those medals was placed around Jacob's jersey, and they held it up to the crowd. And if anybody wants to see a lot of photos of this, go to the MSHSL Facebook page. I shot tons of pictures of these guys. Even in the post-game press conference, we set up a table. So the coach and 3 players are there, and Jacob's jersey is there. So I described it as the coach and 4 players talking to the press after the game. And it's just the amount of comments on the High School League Facebook page on these photos, and a link to the story I wrote. It's unlike anything we've ever done. And I'm in my past 9 years with the High School League now, and social media has been a big part of that. And the stuff on Facebook and Twitter really has connected with people. And what really got me was Sunday afternoon, I saw some Twitter photos. They went to Jacobs to the cemetery. And before they came to the state tournament, the team bus stops at the cemetery to leave a T-shirt that, basically section champs were going to state, left it on Jacob's grave. Come back. They have a really nice homecoming celebration in the gym Sunday. Then they go back to the cemetery with his jersey, with the trophy, with the net they cut down. Everybody's wearing a gold medal. Really, really moving stuff, so you can tell how important that young man was to this team. And they were just so much fun to watch. You know, Henning's about 800 people. Everybody was there. Everybody was wearing orange. I don't know that I've ever seen a story like this. And I told the coach after it was all over, I'm going to go up there at some point here in the coming weeks and sit down with the coach and the 4 seniors, and hopefully Jacob's mom, who's been a part of this behind the scenes, and maybe revisit this, give them some time to process all this. It's so emotional and so important and so moving, and this is people are going to be talking about this in 50 years. Anybody who saw that, whether at the Target Center or Williams Arena or on TV, this is like Edgerton in 1960. People are never going to forget this, and it's just a tremendous, tremendous story that it's hard to describe. I've tried to describe it. That's just the basics, but just the emotion of the whole thing, the joy when they won the state championship. They've never won any state championship in anything in Henning. This is the first one, and really, really an amazing story at the boys' state basketball tournament.
And we don't like the root of the story, but
right.
There is an uplifting aspect to that story we so often find in high school sports, and you do such a great job bringing those to us.
It's funny, too. His nickname was City Boy because he moved to Henning from Delano.
Oh, well.
So they were chanting that. They have T-shirts
the mean
that say
streets of
City
Delano.
Boy on them because he came from Delano.
Right now we're on the mean streets of Princeton.
We are.
We're at 128 North Rum River Drive in Princeton, Minnesota. We are at the Pizza Barn. It's a cozy, fun spot. We're going to be trying out the pizza a little bit later. We'll be telling you about it in the weeks ahead. For the moment, we're going to get back to all of John's stories and storytelling. We do want to introduce Jody Stay and John and Jody to chat about Pizza Barn and why it's a great location for high school sports fans or anybody who might be driving up 169.
It's a community gathering place. Jody and I met in person at the state basketball tournament because the Princeton Tigers boys team, they played at the state tournament, finished 4th in 3A. Again, a great big crowd. You were in the middle of it, Jody. But let's talk about that first. What was that like? You have a son on the team. Your son Hayden is a freshman on the team, and I saw him play. He doesn't just sit on the bench. He's 6'3", I think. Big, strong boy. What was that like as a mom?
Very proud. So, yeah, it was wonderful. The community came out and really encouraged those boys all season long. They had great fan base all season long at the regular season games, and going into playoffs, lots of fans again, and once they made it past the section finals and made it to state, the community came out, and my son and the entire team, parades of kids along the sidewalks of the school, high fives to all of them, and just sent them off with just well wishes and encouraged them, and we saw some success at the tournament, so that was wonderful.
It's so exciting, especially in a smaller town.
Sure.
Where this doesn't. It would have had it been 80, how many years?
87 years.
87
since
years
we visited,
since the last time Princeton had played in the boys' basketball tournament. So, yeah, it's remarkable when these things happen. And we're sitting in your establishment, the Pizza Barn here. Tell us about the history of the place and the kind of things you do.
Well, we've been here for 36 years, so that tells me we have a great product.
Yeah.
I've known that for a long time, and my parents started it. We moved here from southeastern Minnesota in the early 80s, and my parents basically got in the car one day and said, let's find a place to raise our kids in a small town to put a pizza place in, and they stumbled across Princeton, and it was a great move for my family. I didn't think so at the time, but it's turned out to be great. The community welcomed us. We were the only pizza place in town at the time, and my brother and I both went to high school here and graduated from here, and we're both raising our families here now and carrying on what my parents started 36 years ago. And the community's grown a lot. We've welcomed lots of new businesses in here, so we have more competition. So my thought was, well, how do we carry the Pizza Barn forward into the next generation? And we got involved with the schools and activities and athletics, concession stands, team meals, sponsoring events through the school. There's not a concession stand in town that we're not in. Weekends, weeknights, game days. So we just want to keep moving forward with supporting our schools and supporting our kids. And it makes it easy when my kids are part of the school system too.
And you went to school here.
Correct. I'm alumni.
Yeah. You know all the ins and outs. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you feed everybody at games, like you said. And one of the things I've talked about on this show before is the Thank a Ref effort we do at the high school league. You take pizzas to officials after games, and
do.
with the hashtag Thank a Ref on the pizza boxes.
We do.
And I know how much those officials appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. They like it when they see me walk through the door with
comes.
3 pizza boxes in my hand. So we don't hit every single home game, but we hit a majority of them. Hockey, girls basketball, boys basketball, winter sports. We just started at the winter sports season here, but we'll carry it forward to spring sports and again, move on to fall because it's really been a wonderful addition that we've done, and they're very appreciative, and we want to keep moving it forward, and we hope that other establishments jump on the bandwagon and appreciating the refs as we do.
And this is clearly a community gathering place. As we're talking here, there's a girls hockey booster club meeting going on.
There is,
in
the
the
Red
restaurant,
Line Club.
and I think that's probably things like that happen all the time.
It does, yeah. We have a lot of booster clubs that move through. Almost every Monday night, there's a different booster club here having a meeting. So, yeah.
And just this weekend, you had a special day in here. Your dad just passed away, the guy who started this whole thing. Talk about that. You kind of had an open time where people could come through here and honor your dad. There's a whole table full of flowers and photos outside the front doors here. Just talk about that, what that was like for your family.
It was a whirlwind of a week going to the state tournament and supporting the team and losing my dad the previous week. But I think the most touching part of the whole story with my loss of my dad is he really supported the boys basketball team. His grandson played, and he was an avid basketball player in his youth, and he really wanted to know how they did in the section finals, and he wasn't at the game, but I was sending him updates, and they were being communicated to him, and he found out they won and gave a thumbs up, and the next morning he passed. So he passed with the knowledge that they had made it to the state tournament, and fast forward a week later, he didn't want a funeral. He was not a religious man, and so he asked for a celebration of life. And so we had that here at the Pizza Barn in the mall, right outside the Pizza Barn. We figure there was 600 people here yesterday. Friends from near and far, people we've met over the last 36 years came to pay their respects to my dad, and it was touching. I don't think I've given as many hugs in my lifetime as I did yesterday, and we honored him. He said his wishes were, feed them the food I created, say kind words, and don't cry. And I did 2 of those things.
No surprise.
I had some tears, but he was deserving of the tears. And so we spent yesterday just reminiscing, having pizza.
Yeah.
So it was a wonderful day and a great way to remember him.
Sure.
So.
Let's talk about the food he created and what you're continuing. What's the biggest item here? What is the Pizza Barn known for? Because I know you've got everything. I was looking at your menu. You've got everything. Yes.
Of course you can build your own pizza. You can get whatever you want. Like Jim has asked for a gluten-free pizza with banana peppers and pineapple.
High maintenance Jim.
But then we got low maintenance John who says, just give me a sausage pizza.
Throw some sausage on there. I'm
exactly.
happy. Yeah.
So our pizza's our number one seller. We do have some specialty pizzas. One of our more famous one is called the cow pie.
Cow pie. I'm aware of the cow pie.
Cow pie is a garbage pizza, and our motif and our theme is a barn. So, of course, with barns, there's cow pies.
Sure.
We started about a year ago. We have a pizza of the month, and about a year ago, and it was in April of 2018, we introduced a cheese curd pizza. And that's the pizza I want to use to try to get into the state fair. Oh. State fair is always looking for something innovative, and that's, I think, a very innovative creation we came up with. And
cheese
very
curd pizza at the state fair. That sounds right.
It's wonderful, and it's gone over well, and we've since added it to our menu. It wasn't just a pizza of the month, and it's gone over well, and we plain old pepperoni goes over well, and then our sub sandwiches and that's what we serve in our team meals.
Yep.
They can customize their sandwich, and they get a Oreo fluff cup in it, which is kind of one of our famous little desserts here. A bottle of water and some chips, and the bus pulls right into the parking lot. The kids come in, they grab their meals off the table, and off they go to their event. And oftentimes those events are road trips, Grand Rapids, Cloquet, up north, further north than Princeton. So they get a meal from us en route.
And if you want to see some photos of some of those sacked meals and thank a ref pizzas, follow the Pizza Barn on Twitter at ptown_pizza bar, and you'll find it. And tons of great stuff on there. So, Jody, we can't thank you enough for being the new sponsor of our show. We're so excited. It's great to kick it off in the Pizza Barn, and we're very thrilled to have you be part of the team.
Well, I'm thankful that you guys are back. Love the show.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Thanks, Jody.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks to Jody. You can also find their menu and